I love me a warm cup of tea. Goodness gracious. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mother McIntosh. This is Kennedy speaking. This is my second attempt at recording this episode today because I was getting into the nitty-gritty of my opening and like 5 police cars just swarm my house. Not for me though, something's up with my neighbor. But I felt like it was for me at first, and I've never committed a serious crime, but in that moment it was almost like I had been drug trafficking and money laundering and killed multiple people, and they had finally caught me. Like, I just saw myself in prison. I don't know, it was weird. But no big crimes ever committed here. No money laundering here. Trust me, if I did it, you would know. I would definitely not be living in Kentucky. That's for sure. So, this is my real track. Hey. Welcome to Mother McIntosh. I'm hoping that you're listening because you're into hearing, my thoughts on this crazy big life and all the subjects that come along with thinking about it. Or, maybe the sound of my voice is just super soothing to you and puts you right to sleep. Or maybe you're a really supportive friend. And I've irritated you enough these last 2-3 years talking about starting a podcast. And now that I've finally done it, you want to make sure I have a listener. And shout out to you, if that's you. And shout out to anybody that's listening to me ramble for however much time I decide to do so. That's awesome. You're awesome. I think I'm awesome. And I think this is going to be a cool place. I'm hoping that the conversations that I get to have on this podcast will help create a safe space for growth, reflection, laughter, and joy. And I hope that whoever is listening feels like you can really let out a good deep breath by the end of each episode. And yeah, like I said, I have been trying to start... Oh, BTW, before I get into it, how do you feel about the jazz? I wanted to have some type of background music because sometimes I really just have to sit and think about what I want to say. And I don't want it to be like awkward, Nobody likes awkward silences. Point taken, you know what I mean? So, I landed on this. I find it kind of relaxing, but I don't know if it really fits my vibe of speaking either, though. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll change with each episode. Maybe it'll stay consistent, but if you like jazz, then you're in the right place. Yeah. So welcome to my first episode. The title of this episode is This Can't Be Real, because that's exactly how I feel about actually starting a podcast. This is something I've been trying to do for years, like I said, 2-3 years. You can look in my notes section on my phone, and I have written podcast ideas, topics, names, so many different things, and I think it's really cool that a lot of the topics I wrote and was inspired by 3 years ago are still things that I would like to talk about today, and I also think I may be better equipped to talk about them now, and it actually makes sense. So they say time and place for everything, but yeah, this is something I've really been wanting to start for a while. I actually had come up with a different podcast idea. I made the cover art photo for it. I even set up like the whole website was ready. The only thing I had to do was record and post the first episode. I couldn't even do that. And I don't mean couldn't. I mean I could've. Don't get me wrong. I had every ability to record it. I even drove to the park once and sat in my car with my mic and my recording devices and tried to record an episode, and it just didn't feel real to me. It did not feel authentic at all. I called it the JTWIA podcast, and I still think it's awesome. It stands for Just the Way I Am. The whole point of that podcast was to discuss, the different ways that we might view something is wrong with us, or not worthy of love, or happiness, joy, success. And I really wanted to use my platform as a podcaster, because that's me, big talker over here, I wanted to really speak on that, and the fact that you are worthy of all of those amazing things that life can offer you, just the way you are. And I still believe that sentiment, by the way. I still think it's awesome. But just trying to start out like, hey, are you lost? Well, found ya. Welcome to the JTWIA podcast. I don't know, I just didn't like it. It didn't feel authentic to me. It felt really goofy. Like, it felt like I was trying to have a successful podcast, not like I was just someone who loved to yap and thought, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to hit the mic, and thought maybe that my topics of conversation could maybe open up deeper thoughts for other people, Like, I was trying too hard, and I could tell, and I didn't like that. So I guess you could say the last year and a half has been more of a drawing board type thing for me. I really wanted everything to fit. And that's how I landed on Mother McIntosh. I was actually serving a table of two guys one morning at work, and I went up to them after they paid and was like, hey, you guys know, you've been awesome today. I mean, it has truly been a pleasure to serve you. You've been so nice, and, it's early in the morning, and that really can set the tone for the rest of the day. So thank you so much for being cool, and I hope your food was great, and I hope you have an amazing day. And, some tables I give a little extra love to because I can just feel that natural connection, and that's kind of how it was with those two. And they were both like, girl, you are so mother. And they said that, and it's like, it kickstarted the frontal lobe development of my brain. Like, I became a woman that day. Thank you. Shout out those two. And they said that, and I was like, mother. And I kept thinking about it, and I was like, I really love when men call me mommy. Like, it's awesome. Makes me feel powerful. So I was like, okay, so I don't just embody mother in one way. I think I embody mother in so many different ways, and I feel so connected to Mother Nature. If I had to play any character in any movie or book or concept, I would love to be that. And that's kind of how I view myself on this earth, is like, I'm just another piece of nature, And so the mother part really stuck with me, and then, I mean, who doesn't love some alliteration? And I always, I love for things that are mine to have my name on them. So anything I create ever for the rest of my life, you're gonna see, a Kennedi, or a McIntosh, or a whatever my middle name is that not everybody needs to know right now. It'll be there. And that's how you'll know it's mine, So, Mother McIntosh. And it just felt so right to me, and I was like, okay, this is it. And I feel like, I have always seen myself as a role model, and not necessarily a developed role model that's ready to inspire people today, but, if not now, then later. And I think one of the most important characteristics of a mother is, how she delivers as a role model to those that she cares for. And I mean, that's the whole point of survival, if you don't have the right person to mold your life after, then, or not necessarily mold your life after, but to, follow in their footsteps and learned behaviors, if you get those from the wrong person, then you're fucked. You're dead. And I would really love to embody the mother aspect of that in the conversations I have on here, and I'm hoping that as I get more comfortable speaking and develop a relationship with you all and really feel like not only am I being listened to, but I'm getting responses and I have someone to really have a conversation with. And I'm hoping that I can kind of embody those characteristics and really give that motherly advice, and really just be that figure to somebody that maybe doesn't have it. And like I said, to some I may just be mommy, and I'm okay with that too. Although I don't know how my boyfriend would feel about people calling me mommy. But he can suck it up. That's what I have to say about that. But yeah, so welcome to my first episode. This can't be real. It doesn't feel real. It still doesn't. And I think even once I post the first episode online, it still won't feel real. And I'll tell people about it and they'll go and listen. And I'm sure somebody out there will be like, you did so great. Because I have so many people that love and support me, and I'm so grateful for them, by the way. It's awesome, but, I'm sure all those things will happen, and it still won't feel real. And I don't know when it will. But I'm trying really hard to work on the fake it till you make it thing, because I know that it works. And so I might not be a podcast host in my head right now, but, as soon as I started to take this first step, it became something that I could start believing. And I don't know if I would necessarily walk up to somebody right now and introduce myself as a podcaster. But, I'm creating the opportunity to do that in the future, and I think that's cool. But yeah, fake it till you make it. That has rung true for me in so many other ways, too, and it really is a practice that I've learned you can utilize in so many different areas of your life to really enrich your life. It really can. And thank God for drama. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine if I wasn't the least bit delusional, how just sad my life would probably feel. Like, what is life without delusion? You know what I mean? And I guess that might sound crazy to some, but I can give a good example. And that example is that I recently had an old friend of mine reach out for some health advice. And she had said, as your weight fluctuated, because if you know me, you know I've been in a couple weight categories in my lifetime. And if you don't know me, then I have weighed anywhere from 10 pounds at birth, yes, big ass baby, up to like 300 pounds at my heaviest. Well, sorry, no, not 285. But if you round up, that's basically 3. And then I've been everywhere in between that, and she said, as your weight fluctuated, you've always remained confident. And I thought that was the craziest statement I've ever read in my life, because no, the hell I did not. I had so many insecurities. Those insecurities opened up behaviors within myself that I wouldn't say I'm necessarily proud of today. Like, there's so many things that I feel like showed that I wasn't confident. But I also never just said out loud to someone that I wasn't confident, If you ever asked me, you would always think, like, I think I'm the shit. That has been a point that I've always managed to hold up in my life. And, people could see that. And I didn't know that. And I didn't feel the way at the time. But fake it till you make it. And, now that I'm confident in myself internally and I truly know and love myself, my external world already reflects that. So, like, that's a truth that I maybe had to fake at first, but it became real in every single way, and that's been really cool. And I'm going to talk more about that later, Confidence is a huge, huge thing in my life. It truly is. And you know, the opposite of confidence is motherfucking imposter syndrome. And it's real, y'all. I'll tell you that. Imposter syndrome has been beating my ass for so long. So many things. I've had so many fears. You know, some of the fears I had with starting this was that I would seem corny. And I still feel a little corny. I do. But what's wrong with being corny, y'all? You know what I mean? And I love corn, by the way. Now that, just while I'm thinking about it, I just had to put that out there. God bless corn on the cob, man. Where would we be without it? Oh my God, I'm crying thinking about it. Like, corn is just, whew. And I mean, it can be made in so many ways. Actually, while we're here, I want to ask, if you can somehow reach me, how do you like your corn? And I don't necessarily mean like style, like butter corn, Mexican street corn, whatever else there is. Those are the two most important ones to me. I mean, like, do you like yours grilled, boiled, baked? You know, how do you like your corn? Microwaved, if you're crazy. Popped. I like popcorn. But I'd like to hear that. Every single person that listens to this episode, DM me anywhere. Find me anywhere you can and tell me how you like your corn. I have to know. It's going to tell me so much about you. But anyway, I was really scared that I wouldn't have anything worthwhile to talk about, and that people would hear me and I'd start rambling and I'd lose their attention and they'd get bored of me, or they wouldn't really care about what I had to say in the first place, and people wouldn't want to listen to me. And you know, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, but you know, then I started to have the thought. I saw a thing online once. This girl was talking about taking up space at the gym. And since I started my weight loss journey about 2 years ago, I've had the privilege of getting really comfortable in the gym. And one thing that I've noticed as I've gotten comfortable in the gym is that, you know, the stronger I get and the healthier I get and the better I look, the more comfortable I am going down into crowded areas and taking up space. And so I've seen a lot of power in that. You know, there's some exercises I just simply wouldn't be able to do if I wasn't comfortable taking up that space and going in those areas. And I realize the importance of taking up space, and you know, I don't want to limit myself at all if I don't have to. And so as I've been in the practice of taking up space, I've really stopped to ask myself, you know, where do I want to be? What do I want to take up? And if I've had this idea for a podcast for 3 whole years already, why do I not deserve to be one of the people that gets on to a little mic and yaps and talks and others like to listen? You know, why not me? And then I was like, you know what? Hell yeah, girl. You should do it. And if nobody wants to listen to you, I love the sound of my own voice. I'll listen to me, and I'll listen again and again and again, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. And so, yeah, this is me beating the hell out of imposter syndrome. Everybody boo imposter syndrome with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boo! By the way, one time I was a manager at a coffee shop, and I had 2 employees, and one was transgender and the other was a man, and he could not figure out how to respect the transgender person's pronouns or their name. And, you know, we're not here to talk about politics. This is not a political discussion. I just want to say It doesn't hurt to respect the things that people ask of you, especially when they're as simple as a name or a pronoun. Whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't hurt you to just say, if that's what you'd like to be called, I respect that. And I think respect's one of the most important things in the world. So, anytime this man messed up, I made all of the other employees boo him. And we publicly booed him enough that he started calling this other employee by the correct names and pronouns. And that speaks to the power of booing. We should bring booing back for things we don't like. Forget all the mean words, all the hateful, activities and spirit. Just boo people. Booing's harmless. It's not harmless when it's done in big numbers. That's when it's powerful. But it's not. It's like if you want to stab somebody, put the knife down and just boo them. And you'll probably feel better and you won't be in prison, So yeah, that's the whole point of this episode actually, is to bring back booing. But yeah, I'm beating imposter syndrome's ass right now. And honestly, I'm sure some of this has been rambling. But I'm actually having so much fun talking. I feel like I have a whole little group of friends in the room with me that I'm talking to. Maybe that makes me a little schizophrenic. Because, I can kind of see y'all. I don't know. Not for real. Okay, I'm not schizophrenic. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with people that are schizophrenic. Let's get that straight. Nobody with a mental health issue is really wrong. But this is super fun. I'm having a lot of fun talking. I love to talk, so I'm really excited to be starting this. I don't have everything figured out. I don't know every single step that I'm going to take or where this might take me or anything like that. And I'm cool with that, for real. I really am. If this is all I had to do once every 2 weeks until I got too old to work the internet or something, I think I'd be okay with that, I think that this could be a lot of fun for me. And maybe I'll make a new friend on the way, and that'd be cool too. I love making friends. And so, yeah. Question number 2. What's something imposter syndrome has been holding you back from? And what's an action you could take to fake it until it's true to you? I realized recently that I have really bad stage fright. I've been thinking on it. It's something I've been aware of since I was a kid. When I was in elementary school, I would always try out for the talent shows. Every single year I tried out, and it was always singing, and I always made it onto the show. But I had always convinced myself that I wasn't good enough to do it, and I would always come up with some crazy excuse as to why I could no longer perform. And since I was a very, very young girl, I have loved singing. I've loved it. But I've been too scared to do it in public. So, that's something I'm going to work on confronting over this next month. And I don't know, maybe I will suck. Maybe I'll get on stage and people will boo me. But that's okay, I guess. I'll probably cry. I would cry for sure. But I would survive, BTW, my laptop's about to die, so I hope you enjoyed the smooth jazz while you had it. I'll make sure to charge it up before the next episode. I apologize in advance for that. How unprofessional of me. Goodness gracious. I'm on it. I'm on it next time, for sure. But yeah, whatever that came to mind and whatever you thought of, that you're like, damn, now that I think about it, I really have always wanted to do this, and I've been telling myself I wasn't ready or good enough or actually open to it for a really long time, and I'm going to start, and maybe we can both start today, and then we can start tracking how much easier it gets over time. Like when you have to walk up the same flight of stairs every day. Your first day is always the hardest, you know. And so here's my first day for this. And if you stick around, I hope that I can grow and get better at this and make you proud somehow. I don't know. So yeah, I would like to wrap this episode up with some gratitude. Thank you so much for listening to me talk for 25 minutes at least, if you're here. And you know, so much, that's like 2 whole episodes of SpongeBob you could have watched in the time you just took to listen to me speak. And so thank you so much for that. I hope that I was able to make you maybe giggle today, or smile, or even smirk maliciously, because that's fun too. And you know, if you decide you never want to hear me